Hola chicos, aquí estoy yo, tu profe de español Katia, y hoy vamos a hablar de los verbos de stem changing, parte 3 en el presente, de IR ending verbs. ¿Listos? Vamos. Ok, para los verbos de IR, tenemos tres tipos, three types of stem changing verbs with IR. Tenemos I a IE como el verbo preferir. In this case, you have to memorize where it occurs in the stem, but it still is the same change. So it occurs in this E right here. So you have to memorize that. Tenemos O a UE or O to UE changes in a verb that ends in IR, such as dormir. And then finally, we have a verb change that occurs just an E to an I in a verb such as servir. Hoy vamos a hablar de los tres tipos y vamos a practicar también. Vamos. Ok, con los verbos de I a I, como el verbo preferir, funciona lo mismo. It's the same way. So, simplemente se quita al final, tienes la parte del base del verbo. In this case, you do have to memorize that preferir, the E that changes from E to IE is the second one. You need to make your boot. And then you can figure out your verbs. Go ahead and pause the video now and try it out. Ok, muy bien. Aquí tenemos prefiero, prefieres, prefiere, preferimos, preferís, no change, y prefieren otra vez. So aquí tenemos el cambio que ocurre aquí dentro del verbo, dentro de la bota. Ok, y aquí tenemos otros verbos que funcionan así. Tenemos advertir, que significa to warn. Convertir, to change or to convert. Divertirse significa to have fun or to enjoy oneself or something. To enjoy oneself doing something. Hervir significa to boil. Mentir, to lie, as in to lie, to tell a lie. Sentir significa to feel, or it can also mean kind of to regret or feel sorry. Y sentirse significa to feel. And all these verbs have the same E to IE stem change within their stem. Muy bien. Ok, el segundo tipo de verbo que tenemos que funciona como stem changing verb es de O a UE. Y esto pasa en verbos como dormir, dormirse y también morir. So, dormir significa to sleep versus dormirse, que significa to fall asleep. Y morir significa to die. Kind of morbid there, but dormir, dormirse y morir. Y vamos a practicar ahora con el verbo dormir en el próximo paso. Ok, so vamos a practicar con el verbo dormir, que primero se tiene que quitar el final. Tienes el stem. The O converts to UE, but only within the boot. Go ahead and give it a try and pause it here and then check your answers when you're done. Muy bien, vamos. Ok, super. Aquí tenemos yo duermo, aquí con el cambio. Duermes, don't forget that is an IR ending verb, but it matches the ER ending verbs on the end. Duerme. Nosotros dormimos. Here we have no change. And don't forget that in the present tense, the IR verbs match the ER endings, but except for vosotros and nosotros. So es dormimos, no dormemos, or something like that. Es dormimos. Same here, dormís, no change. And then, ahora que estamos dentro de la bota, tenemos duermen. Ellos, ellas, ustedes duermen. Muy bien. Ok, so aquí tenemos el tercer tipo de verbos, que es E to I stem changing verbs. And this would happen in a verb like servir, que significa to serve. So here again, I still cross off my ending. I'm left with my stem, and instead of this changing to anything else, it's E to just an I. So I'm going to draw la bota y voy a hacerlo. Okay, pause the video here and try it out. Ok, so aquí tenemos los verbos. Yo sirvo, tú sirves. Notice again the ending there. Sirves, sirve. Ahora que estamos afuera de la bota, tenemos nosotros servimos. So the I, imos part there. And then, of course, no change. Vosotros servís, same idea. And ellos, ellas, ustedes sirven. Muy bien. Ok, y aquí tienen ustedes los verbos que son parecidos. Tenemos despedir, que significa to fire someone, or to fire. Okay, from a job. Despedirse significa to say goodbye or, farewell from a person or situation. Pedir significa to ask for. Can sometimes mean to beg. Impedir significa to stop. Notice that all of these verbs have pedir, 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 pedir. That's true with any stem changing verb. So they have that same kind of base there. So they're all going to have that same stem change. Medir significa to measure something. Reírse, to laugh. Laugh at oneself. Repetir, to repeat. Sonreír significa to smile. Smile at something or someone. Vestirse significa to get dressed or to dress oneself. And don't be alarmed by the say at the end of the verb. You can find under the video on reflexive verbs. Muy bien. Ok, y ahora para practicar, ustedes van a practicar con pedir, to ask for, to beg, morir, to die, y repetir, to repeat. You can practice these here now, and then I'll have the answers on the next slides if you want to look at them. And then I will also be explicitly talking about how to do each one. So head to the next slide whenever you're ready, or pause the video here and then press play when you're ready. Ok, aquí tenemos el verbo pedir. Remember, is an E to I stem changing verb, so the I occurs in the boot. And then outside of the boot, we have pedimos y pedís. Don't forget that it's still an IR ending verb, so pedimos y pedís. I'm going to show how to do this now, or you can fast forward to the next verb. Okay, so now I'm going to explain the verb here. So the first thing, as always, I want to cut off my ending, and I'm left with the stem, P-E-D. Okay, from here, I know that this is going to be an E to I, a stem changing verb, just because I need to memorize that change occurs. So that every E within the boot is going to be now an I. So va a ser pido, because it's yo. Okay, P, and this is an IR ending verb, but I know that my endings for IR in the present tense for tú are pides. El, ella, usted, pide. Okay, now I'm outside of the boot, so of course the stem change is not going to occur. And I have to remember that's an IR ending verb, so es pedimos. And then pedís para vosotros, if you want to go to Spain. Y después ellos, ellas y ustedes, of course, in the boot, so the stem change does occur. Piden is my ending. Muy bien. Ok, ahora vamos a practicar con el verbo morir, que significa to die. This is an IR ending verb, but it has an O to UE stem change that occurs within the boot. So go ahead and pause the video now and practice with this verb. Ok, aquí tenemos las respuestas. Yo muero, tú mueres, él, ella, usted muere, nosotros morimos, vosotros morís, ellos, ellas, ustedes mueren. Ahora, morir puede significar to die, pero también es como, like, you can say it to die for something, like I'm dying to meet Harry Styles, or me muero por conocer a Harry Styles, o algo así. Okay, ahora voy a explicar. I'm going to explain, but if you've got it, you can move on to the final verb. Okay, so the idea here is first I'm going to cut off my ending. I'm left with my stem, which is going to have a stem change from O to UE. So here I spell it out, and then I have the R still, and I add the O because that's my ending for my yo form in the present tense. And then here, mueres, same spell change here. Now when I step outside of the boot, remember the stem change does not occur, so it's mor, and then of course it's an IR ending verb, so I have to remember my ending, which is morimos. Vosotros morís, okay? Y después ellos, ellas, ustedes, dentro de la bota, inside the boot, so es mueren. Muy bien. Ok, finalmente vamos a mirar a este verbo que es repetir. We're going to look at this verb. Okay, this is an E to I stem changing verb, and some people might say, well, how do I know exactly where it changes in repetir, since if I cross off my ending and I have my stem, there are two E's? Well, what I like to tell students is just that the verbs still need to sound like the verb. So it's still the word. Like you have to be able to sound, it has to be able to sound like the verb repetir. So if I change it, I know it has to be this one because repito sounds better than repito. Well, maybe not. They kind of sound similar, but that one sounds more a little bit like English. So for most of the verbs, it does work well just to think like the verb has to sound, the verb in whatever conjugated form has to sound like that original verb, because otherwise it's a completely different word. So it's going to be, the stem is going to change here, so E to I, and you just have to remember that. So for the yo form, it would be repito, not ripeto. Ripeto, no, that sounds weird. So exactly what I said before. Y después repites, and finalmente repite. Here, of course, there's no change, so es repetimos. It helps sometimes if you look at the original verb before you write. Repetís. Y ellos, ellas, ustedes, of course, there is a change here. Repiten. Muy bien. Ok, super. Gracias por escuchar. Este ha sido un estudio de los verbos de stem changing, the stem changing verbs. We looked at 3 different types in the present tense. Of course, this is only the present tense. There will be some irregular verbs in the different tenses as well. But muy bien para hoy y vamos a vernos en el próximo video. Gracias. Chao. Un besito.